Have you ever felt like you were nothing more than a resource to your own family? Before you witness this quiet, overlooked daughter unleash a storm of perfectly documented ice-cold revenge, make sure you're subscribed and have notifications turned on. The Kessler family is about to learn that the quietest person in the room is always the most dangerous. I woke up on Thanksgiving morning to the sound of silence, a deep, hollow silence that was utterly wrong. In the Kessler family house, our 5-bedroom monument to suburban aspiration, Thanksgiving was a symphony of chaos. The aroma of roasting turkey, the blare of the Macy's parade on TV, the bickering of my siblings. But today, there was nothing. The house was cold, empty. All the cars were gone. My parents, my 2 brothers, my sister vanished. My phone screen was a blank desert. No messages, no missed calls. Then I tried to call them. My mother's contact, deleted. My father's, deleted. My siblings, all gone. A desperate, childish prank? No. This was too clean, too deliberate. My brother Rhett had borrowed my phone the night before. He'd said, "My phone's dead. Can I check the score?" He'd deleted the contacts, but he wasn't smart enough to block the numbers. I knew my Uncle Dean's by heart. "Krista?" he answered, his voice too cheerful. "You're still home?" In the background, I heard it. Not the clatter of a New England kitchen, but the gentle crash of waves and the faint, unmistakable pluck of a ukulele. "Where are you?" I asked, my voice a stranger's. Maui," he stammered. "Your parents wanted a big surprise for their anniversary. They figured you were busy with work. They didn't want you to worry about the expense." The expense? The expense for a luxury vacation they were taking with the money I'd been pouring into this house for 6 years? Before I could respond, I heard my sister Sloane's voice in the background, sharp and annoyed. "God, are you talking to her? I thought the plan was just to leave her behind." I hung up. The kitchen felt like a tomb. This wasn't a mistake. This was a meticulously planned, malicious act of financial exclusion. They had snuck out in the night, leaving me behind to pay for the house they were no longer in, so they could vacation on my dime. The tears I expected never came. Instead, a chilling, crystalline clarity washed over me. 6 years of being the responsible one. 6 years of my $2,000 a month contribution covering the bulk of the mortgage, while my siblings lived rent-free. 6 years of my paychecks disappearing into their comfort. $144,000. Gone. They thought they had left me trapped. They had no idea they had just set me free. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I walked to my office, opened a 3-inch binder heavy with 6 years of receipts, bank statements, and warranties, and I began to make a plan. They had left me behind, but they had left me in the house I paid for, with the utilities I managed, surrounded by the high-end appliances I had bought. They had made a catastrophic miscalculation. The moving truck arrived the next morning. It cost me triple the normal rate for a holiday weekend, worth every penny. "Let's start in the living room," I told the foreman, my binder of evidence tucked under my arm like a weapon. I pointed to the 80-inch 4K TV on the wall. "That comes down first. It was my bonus from last March." I moved through the house like a general, directing the reclamation of my assets. The front-loading washer and dryer my sister had demanded, the 4-door smart fridge I'd bought during a heat wave, the $900 espresso machine my brothers used every morning without ever buying a single bag of coffee, the high-speed mesh Wi-Fi system. Room by room, the house was stripped of every single item I had paid for. This wasn't an emotional rampage, this was inventory management. By evening, the house was a hollow shell of what it once was. Before I left, I made a series of calls. to the power company, the water company, the internet provider. I calmly canceled every utility account registered in my name. Service to be disconnected within 48 hours. I placed my keys on the empty kitchen counter next to a stack of new, unpaid utility bills now addressed to my parents. I took one last look at the gaping holes where a life used to be and pulled the door shut behind me with a satisfying click. In my car, I checked the time. 6 days until they returned. 6 days until they walked into a cold, dark, empty house and discovered what responsibility actually costs. Tick-tock. The trap is set. The family is flying home to a nightmare of their own making. If you are living for this ice-cold revenge, smash that like button and let me know in the comments. What do you think their first phone call will be? I watched their return on the Ring doorbell app I had deliberately left active. I watched them fumble with the keys, step into the darkness, and descend into panic. The lights aren't working. Where's the TV? The fridge is gone. I watched my father call 911 to report a robbery. And then I watched the moment my brother accessed the Ring footage and saw my face calmly directing the movers. She took everything, he stammered. The call started immediately. 52 missed calls in 10 minutes. Then the texts. I ignored them all. The police showed up at my new, much smaller apartment. I didn't argue. I didn't explain. I simply handed them the binder. Everything appears to be in your name, Miss Kessler, the officer said, a flicker of understanding in his eyes as he flipped through pages of receipts and bank statements. He handed the binder back. Do you want us to file the harassment report on your behalf? No, that won't be necessary. The consequences for them were a slow, beautiful cascade of failure. Their house, which they couldn't afford without my contribution, was foreclosed on within 3 months. They were forced into a cramped 2-bedroom rental. My sister had to drop out of her expensive private college. My father had to get a real job for the first time in 15 years. My mother started selling her jewelry on Facebook Marketplace. They sued me in small claims court. I didn't hire a lawyer. I just brought the binder. The judge dismissed the case as frivolous and warned my father about perjury. 4 months ago, I woke up abandoned. Now I sit on the balcony of my own apartment in a silence that is earned, peaceful, and mine. My brother recently messaged me on LinkedIn asking for a job reference. I blocked him without a reply. They thought quiet meant weak. They thought responsible meant exploitable. They learned the hard way that the person who pays the bills is the one who holds all the power. And when you leave that person behind, they take the entire world you built with them. They say revenge is a dish best served cold. In this case, it was served with receipts, a moving truck, and disconnected utilities. What do you think is the ultimate form of justice? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you believe in the power of quiet strength, subscribe for more stories where the underestimated always win.